Hi, it's Kory from Backstage Music Magazine here with lead vocalist, occasional guitar player from Clutch, Neil Fallon. Neil, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Hey, my pleasure.
I appreciate it. I know you guys are busy.
Hardly. Just back to eating pistachios.
So you just got back from the UK, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, what is today? Yeah, just not even 2 weeks ago. 10 days ago.
You're here in Pennsylvania today. Tomorrow you're in Toronto, and then back to Cleveland for New Year's Eve. And how do you keep up a schedule like that?
Well, it's not so hard in a tour bus. You know, we sleep through the nights. We kind of just wake up where we need to be. You know, we did plenty of time in the van, so I think I still appreciate being in a tour bus and being able to get up and pee when you want to. It's the small mercies that make it tolerable. But, you know, this is the greatest job in the world, so even the worst day is still good.
You're finishing up a tour now. It started with Zach Sabbath and King, and now you're ending here with Mariachi El Bronx and Mike Dillon Band. Do you guys get to pick the bands that open for you now with the Weathermaker?
We do. We have a booking agent, and sometimes he'll suggest bands. Sometimes we'll suggest bands, or we'll ask bands, or bands will ask us. And we try to put together a bill that's diverse, and I think Clutch fans appreciate that. You know, instead of seeing kind of 3 or 4 variations on the same idea, because you pay your ticket, for your full night. It's not just us, and so yeah, we do have the final say when it's our headlining tour. That is.
Anything in particular to look for with opening acts?
Well, I mean, there's every band has their own fan base, so Mariachi El Bronx and Dillon are bringing people in here that may not have been otherwise, and vice versa, and we just look for bands that are sincere and are good players. We don't really have a whole lot of patience for like smoke and mirrors, and I think Clutch fans feel the same way. And I think if they get up there insincere or arrogant, they're going to get thrown to the dogs.
Well, you're out promoting Psychic Warfare. Congratulations on that. Following up an album like Earth Rocker couldn't have been easy. How did it come to be? You guys just keep writing from Earth Rocker and kind of transitioned right into Psychic Warfare? I gave myself a little bit of a head case after Earth Rocker because it was very well received and I was very proud of it, and I was like, well, hell, what do we do? And then I realized when we made Earth Rocker, I wasn't thinking on those terms like, oh, let's make a really popular record. We just made a record that we liked. So once I said, let's just do this, stop overthinking it and go with your gut, it became a lot easier. And I kind of liken the creative process to like any other exercise or muscles. If you sit on the couch, you're going to get out of shape. It's just writing's the same thing. If you keep the momentum going, and that's, we're already thinking about the next record because we're not going to rest on our laurels. And to be frank, we've been beating Psychic Warfare to death over the past year. So we want to get some new songs in the set list. And when you were recording Earth Rocker, was there anything that you guys did with that album that you're like, we need to do some more of that? Or anything you said, you know what, we got to try something different?
I think the main difference, something that we carried on into Psychic Warfare from Earth Rocker even to more of an extreme was being really well rehearsed before we recorded anything. Psychic Warfare was the first time, with the exception of A Quick Death in Texas, I had written all the lyrics ahead of time. And that gave JP a chance to kind of finesse his drum parts around lyrical rhythms. And that's when the cool stuff happens, when you stop trying to remember your parts. And then you can just play by muscle memory, and you can do the little tasty bits, either on guitar or vocals or what have you. So we knew the songs front and back.
And that makes a big difference, and I think we're going to try to do the exact same this time around.
And I know the members of the band take turns picking set lists every night to keep things kind of fresh. Who's picking tonight's set?
Me.
Are there any songs that are more physically demanding for you personally than others? Kind of, you see them on a set list and, oh man, thank God I took that nap.
Well, there's some the faster tempo songs, whether it be like, think of an example, Noble Savage, but they're not that long. I think, to me, the most difficult thing on stage is doing a song like that and then switching to something like Regulator, which requires, instead of holding a microphone like this, all of a sudden you got to do this, and it's hard to slow down. But I think dynamics are crucial for a set. You can only stay on 11 for so long, because then it starts sounding the same. You can bring it back down, so then when you go back up, it makes the evening more of a journey.
Do you write your music first or lyrics first, or has that changed over the years? I mean, back in the 90s, did you just say, I need to have a song that has the words Little Bunny Foo-Foo in it? And
I write down little ideas. Now they end up in my cell phone, usually mumbled at a very wee hour in the morning, and when it sounds like genius, and it's always garbage. And I don't try to force I think I used to force ideas onto songs maybe early on, and now I think we've all learned the idea of songwriting as a compositions and stuff, because when I first started out, I was flying blind. I didn't know what was going on, and that has its merits too, because sometimes you end up with a unique approach because you have to make it up as you go. But in the ideal situation, I listen to a Clutch song instrumentally before anyone else does, and I get to close my eyes and say, what does this make me think of? And sometimes I don't have any justification why, but that's the fun part of the creative, process.
you just also re-released La Corandera on black vinyl, a collection of songs that all have something to do with women. I know you touched on that a little bit with Sucker for the Witch and some of your commentary on that. Anything about writing about women particularly easy or appealing for you, or is it just a convenient coincidence?
Well, I think it's, it goes back to my adolescence when I discovered, Heavy Metal magazine. And I have this very, still to this day, juvenile romantic notion of the woman who, she's incredibly attractive, but at the same time she's going to kick your ass. And like any kind of Boris Vallejo painting or something like that. And and it also, I guess, it ties into myth, that I always kind of am attracted to with lyrics. Strong personalities with a backstory infuses a song with much more vibe than just trying to generate your own world from scratch.
And for anybody who hasn't seen your commentary on Noble Savage, how do you answer the question I always have a hard time answering? What kind of music does Clutch play? Unfortunately, the awesome kind isn't readily accepted by most people. Don't really fit into any one genre.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons in the 90s record labels had a hard time with us, because they always, before they even listen to anything, they want to know what the adjectives are. But we all take that as a point of pride. We listen to everything that we can, whether it be classic rock, metal, jazz, country, hip hop, bluegrass, you name it, it's all good. And anything that you listen to somehow ends up in our songs, maybe not overtly, but we can. I think ultimately we just want to play rock and roll that we like to listen to. I know that sounds really simple and maybe not that exciting, but it's you got to be able to love your songs if you're going to do it night after night after night. I mean, I can't imagine just kind of performing songs you hate for 25 years.
Well, it certainly seems to work for you. You find being on your own label now with Weathermaker a little bit easier to make decisions like that? You don't have to kind of run them past anybody?
Well, they tried to change us, but we're knuckleheaded, and we always saw the label as the enemy by the end of our relationships. And now it's been a learning curve putting it out, but it's very liberating. We put out records when we want to. We do it who we want to do it with, under the terms that we want. And it's the internet, I know, is like kind of been dogged by a lot of musicians, you know, from kind of pulling the rug out from monetizing music. And I understand that, and I understand the argument. However, it was the best thing to happen to Clutch. You know, we had all the promotion and marketing from major labels of the world. Didn't really do much for us. But once kids started going on YouTube and, well, I guess initially Napster, just sharing files and now streaming, our fan base has become much more diverse across the globe. And they listen to something for free on their phone, and then they come and buy a ticket and a t-shirt. It's all good by us.
Any plans for the coming year? Any side projects? Any new material? Anything from Bakerton Group?
No, not. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cool our heels. We're going to take just shy of 4 months at home, just cause. But we'll be writing, and that's our main goal. We got some tours planned. One in May, Europe in the summer, and then another one in the late summer. But that's it, touring-wise, 2017. Everything else is going to be focused on the next record, and hopefully record it right maybe around this time next year, which will put it out in the first or second quarter of 2018.
Okay. That's all I have for you. I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem.